Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to a video on Blair. And so pretty much what we're doing today is kind of teaching you guys how to use each one of the equipment, just because I know I did have a couple people recently from my live streams that wanted to play this with me during the live, but they were a little unfamiliar with the equipment. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. So obviously when you load in, you're going to have a lot of different equipment. So the first one that we're going to start off with is going to be this little device right here, which is an EMF. So with the EMF, what you guys want to do is pretty much just click it to turn it on, and after that you're going to walk around and just kind of explore everywhere. So a thing with the EMF is pretty much whenever you have like an occurrence, usually you'll get this little marking on it right here, and it'll pretty much go from 1 to 5, red being 5, green being 1. And so pretty much the way that you go ahead and figure out if this is actually the right evidence or not is that it has to hit level 5, which is the red. Another thing we could go ahead and tell you guys is going to be the thermometer. And pretty much with the thermometer, you just have to walk around the house and just try to figure out what room he's in. Whenever you get a negative number, that's considered evidence. But if you get to 0.10, unfortunately, that usually means that it's not going to be a freezing temp for evidence, but it will indicate which room it is. So pretty much once you get a 0.10, this is pretty much the room. This is where the ghost is at. But only write down freezing temps if you get a negative number, even if it's negative 0.00. Another thing you could use is a spirit box, and pretty much the way you're going to use this is, it's a spirit box. So the way you use this is pretty much you got to turn it on, talk to it, and on the side right there, it'll tell you, it'll talk to you. Keep in mind, sometimes it only works better when you're by yourself, and it only works when you're in the dark. So that's pretty much the spirit box. Another thing right here is going to be our trusty camera, or video camera, I should say. And with the video cameras, you can pretty much go ahead and just kind of look through each of the locations and kind of just go through them. You could also do this with the trigger or the trail camera, which pretty much you go ahead and put down on the ground, and pretty much you'll be able to look through them. And the way that you go ahead and get evidence for that is you have to see like little orbs flying around. Usually they'll come from anywhere from 1 to about 7, and if you see those flying around, then pretty much it is going to be a evidence for your ghost orbs. Next thing we're going to go ahead and show you guys is going to be the ultraviolet, and pretty much with this you just got to go ahead and look for fingerprints, and there you have it. There is some UV handprint right there, so that's a big W. And once again, the handprint that you guys saw, you're going to go ahead and mark it as ultraviolet, which we just call UV for short. The crosses are pretty much self-explanatory. When you have a cross in your hand, right, you just gotta walk around and find the ghost room, put the cross down, and that'll pretty much like save you some time. And if it burns like that, that means it saved you from a hunt, because this guy really wants us dead. But yeah, pretty much what you do once again for the cross, just place it down in the ghost room, make sure it's the right room, and then if it does burn up, pretty much that does save you from dying, because whenever it burns, that means the creature wanted to hunt you, but due to the fact that it burned, you have about like, I want to say 20 to 30 seconds to go ahead and figure out what you're doing. Also, another thing that you should note too is that whenever your cameras go like disappear, right? For example, like this, that pretty much indicates that there's a hunt happening. And usually when the hunt happens, the creature will walk around, but for some reason he's kind of stuck there and I'm not sure why. Aside from that, you do have lighters, and pretty much with the lighters, you can go ahead and pretty much turn on candles inside the house that spread around the house. And that's the number one way that you could go ahead and get some easy evidence to try to figure out what it is. And pretty much sometimes you do have some objectives that do tell you right here, like get the ghost to burn out a candle or turn off a candle. And so like for example, there's a candle right here, light it up, and then I'm just gonna get out because this thing's pretty agitated. Paranormal microphone isn't really needed unless if you're playing on a big map. Pretty much small maps you don't really need this, but whenever you do like a large map, pretty much all you gotta do is just activate this, and then pretty much you'll be able to hear any sound inside, and it'll tell you like how far it was as well. So pretty much we are hearing some sounds from here, the doorbell, and that's the reason why it's kind of glitching on the bottom, because you're hearing the doorbell. But pretty much what you would usually do is go into the location. Once you go into the location, you just kind of just move your guy around left and right for a couple seconds, pause for 5, go to the other side, pause for 5. And if you hear laughing, if you hear talking, if you hear anything that sounds kind of paranormal, that's pretty much the direction in which it's at. And it'll usually tell you on the bottom the meters. And the dB is pretty much like how loud it is. These incense burners pretty much help you kind of escape hunts. So when you're inside and you're pretty much running around and you're getting hunted, all you gotta do is just pretty much make sure you have a lighter in your inventory and have the incense burner. And pretty much what you do is just you just go in and then you just click it, and then pretty much it'll toss this little fume in it. You can go ahead and do this when you're getting chased, and you could also go ahead and do this if, for example, there's a quest that says go ahead and use an incense in the ghost room. Pretty much for the camera as well, we're gonna go ahead and talk about this. Just kind of go ahead and show you guys like what kind of evidence you guys could go ahead and get. But with the camera, pretty much what you want to go ahead and do is look for anything that looks kind of out of the ordinary, whether it's gonna be cursed objects, the voodoo doll, anything that might have turned on by itself. Pretty much that's the main things that you want to look for. So pretty much you can find anything from summoning circles, Ouija boards, and like little boxes that pretty much play music, which are called music boxes. I'm not exactly sure if that's what it's called in this game per se, but that's what they're called in Phasmal. And this is a summoning circle. And pretty much if you go ahead and take a picture of it, you do get some points. You do get some cash, which is nice to have, especially when if you're having a difficult game. It's definitely good to have. Voodoo doll is going to look like this, so you can go ahead and take a picture of it. Once you take a picture of it, feel free to pick it up. Another thing that you could go ahead and do too is take a pic. Oh, I didn't get a picture of it, but if you're lucky enough to take a picture of it, you can take a picture of the ghost, and you'll get a little bit of money for it. Also, taking a picture of the book as well, if it has any marks in it, and pretty much footprints and UVs will also pretty much pay as well. So definitely try to take pictures of those. Another couple things that you guys could take pictures of too is if the sink turns on by itself, you can take a picture of it, and it'll usually be dirty water. And if a teammate dies, you could also take a picture of them to get a little bit of extra money. And on top of that too, if you're the person that brings all the stuff, right, and you die, as long as someone takes a picture of you, you get insurance, and you get about like 25 to 50% back, from my understanding. The salt is pretty much self-explanatory. Pretty much with this, you're going to go ahead and place it inside. Place it in the ghost room, what you think it is. Put the salt down, and pretty much look at if there's any footprints on the salt. A little fun fact for you. If there are no footprints in the salt, and you're in the right room, it's a wraith. But pretty much if you go ahead and use the salt, and you do get footprints, you can take a picture for evidence. Last but not least, I believe is going to be our sanity soda. And pretty much with this soda, you could go ahead and drink it, and you're going to go ahead and make your bar go up. So like, for example, I'm going to go ahead and take a little chug, and it's going to go up right here. And yeah, it usually goes anywhere from 30 to 50% depending on what difficulty you're playing on. And obviously you do have flashlights, but I don't even have to explain what those do, because realistically flashlights are pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, that pretty much covers it, guys, overall. So I think we're gonna go ahead and kind of go over everything we just kind of went over. We'll go ahead and start with the spirit box, which is gonna be this. Pretty much to go ahead and activate it, you got to turn it on. Once you do that, you're gonna have to click like one of these, and keep in mind you have to be in the dark in order for it to be used. And it seems like there's a hunt going on right now. Another thing that you could go ahead and use is going to be these video cameras right here. And pretty much you do have video cameras as well as trail cameras. Let me see if I could see a trail camera right here for you guys. So this right here is a trail camera. You can place that down, and you could also look from it as well. But pretty much when you place it down, a ghost could go ahead and walk by it, and it kind of helps you indicate like where the ghost is at. But both the video camera as well as the trail camera, you could go ahead and look through both of them in the truck. Aside from that, you do have your book right here, which pretty much you're going to go ahead and put your book down in the ghost room. And if it writes, pretty much you're going to have a little bit of evidence there. And only if it writes is you're going to put ghost writing. Self-explanatory, you just place it down in the room that you think it's at. And see if you get any footprints. Paranormal microphone, you will only use in bigger maps. All you got to do is just turn it on. And then just look at the distance that it's at. Right now we have someone walking towards us. That's why you guys saw that moving crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much how you kind of indicate what room it's in. Last, right here on this shelf, we have the lighter. And pretty much the lighter you could go ahead and use for the incense. Which pretty much you could use the incense in the ghost room. As well as if you're getting chased, you could go ahead and use that to kind of distract the ghost. And the lighter can also be used to turn on candle lights. You also do have your sanity soda right here, which you're pretty much going to go ahead and drink. And once you drink the sanity soda, you will pretty much get your sanity back. Your thermometer right here. You also have just walk around the room, try to figure out what room it's at. If it's declining like heavily, then that's pretty much going to indicate the room. If it ever hits negative, that's when you're going to go ahead and put in your book freezing temperatures, even if it's negative 0.00. And also, if you get 0.10, that is not negative, but usually that indicates where the ghost room is at. Another thing too is going to be your what else we have here? UV light, as well as the glow stick. Pretty much with these two, you go ahead and look around, look for footprints or handprints, and pretty much that will indicate if it is evidence or not, which is going to be ultraviolet. Perfect, we found both of these, and pretty much the way that you use this is you're going to go into the ghost room and pretty much try to look for any evidence here, and when it goes ahead and goes up, this pretty much indicates that something was touched nearby. And if it goes from 1, it's pretty much it's close. 3 meaning that it's like very close, and 5 being like you should probably get out and wait for it to go down. The only way that you're gonna get EMF 5, or I should say EMF 5, is by getting the red dot right there, and that's the only way it's gonna be evidence. For SLS, we didn't exactly see anything with the SLS, so I'm probably gonna wait a little bit and just go on to the next game, just kind of explain what the SLS is. Actually, I don't even need to do a tutorial because this is pretty much gonna go ahead and tell you guys what you need to know. The dots that you see on the player with the green lines, this pretty much indicates that this is a player. If somebody dies, you can pretty much find them as well, even if their body's not there, and they'll be green. When it's the entity, when it's the ghost, it's gonna be red. And if you see like this exact like thing with the dots, but instead of the green it's red, that's pretty much your SLS evidence. If you see it and it's like green, that just means that it's a player, and if you don't see a body there, it means it's a dead player just kind of walking around. But yeah, that pretty much concludes it, guys. There's not really much more to talk about. There is some items back here, but we don't really need to talk about these too much, just because they do cost Robux. Anyways, guys, I hope this video kind of does help you guys to a certain extent. I know that when I first started playing Phasmophobia, I had a lot of difficulty kind of understanding the equipment. And Blair, which is kind of exactly the same. It's a little bit more difficult to kind of understand because some of the equipment is a little bit altered, but definitely it's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, I hope this video helps you guys out. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. We'll see you guys in the next one. So then, take care.